Let's talk about ADHD a little bit more today and its association with dementia and my research on why I think it is an autoimmune disease. My name is Andrew. I'm an academic researcher with over 15 years of experience in my field, and we've been talking a lot about ADHD this week. It's how ADHD affects the eyes, affects the brain, affects the body, to some of the other fun comorbidities like Parkinson's and chronic pain. And if you want to read more about this, I have a free weekly magazine that you can get your copy of in the link tree in my bio. And if you want to help fund my research, because I am crowdsourced, keep the content like this accessible to the community, you can find me on Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal under the Goo Man Stem, or check the link tree in my bio. I'm only about $100 to my goal for the week of $250. I would also really love some grocery money. Again, you can show your support with the link tree in my bio. Thank you as always, and I appreciate you folks. All right, let's get into it. Why do I think ADHD is an autoimmune disorder? And you're gonna have to hang in here with me because we're gonna work backwards. So A, we talked about the fact that ADHD has a really high increased risk with developing dementia and developing Parkinson's. B, I talk about on my channel a lot this idea that the Herpel-Derpels family of viruses like CMV, Epstein-Barr, shingles, all sorts of stuff is highly studied with the development of things like dementia and certain types of autoimmune diseases that are also comorbid with ADHD. As always, I'll post my papers below for my nerds and my providers. You can see behind me, you can see CMV has been implicated in the pathology of ADHD. Ba-bam! Then, of course, I've covered PANS and PANDAS on my channel a lot. This idea that we get a strep infection or a viral infection and it causes the onset of ADHD and OCD-like behaviors. Again, huge comorbidity between autoimmune diseases and attention deficit disorder. It's the same Venn diagram. And to talk about that Venn diagram, we need to talk about this paper right here. Somebody sent me this paper a while ago, asked me to talk about it. And basically what this paper talks about is the fact that these 109 pleiotropic genes, or genes that do a bunch of things, are responsible for the 8 major categories of psychiatric disorders that they tested for. Things like schizophrenia, which have also been reclassified as an autoimmune disease. Also like bipolar, which has been classified as an autoimmune disease. And this is depending on who you talk to, like just an immunologist. This is what they'll tell you. If you talk to a psychiatrist, it's going to be a totally different conversation. We're talking depression, where your SSRIs are technically a novel class of immunosuppressants. We're talking amantadine, which is actually originally an antiviral for influenza and is now being used to treat people with ADHD and Parkinson's. So to sum it all up for what's causing this is essentially we have antibodies in our brains that are disrupting our brain's ability to do what they're supposed to do. Like there's a structural piece of that when you're developing in your parents, where your brain kind of forms a little odd. Same thing in people that are neurospicy. But the presence of these antibodies, again, we see across the board between all psychiatric disorders. The most popular antibody that you'll hear for a lot of this stuff is called the GAD antibody, so it prevents us from putting glutamate, which is a hyperexcitable neurotransmitter, makes your brain go burr, into something that's a calming neurotransmitter called GABA. This fits into something called the hyperexcitable brain theory in ADHD. So yeah, I think it's an autoimmune disorder. I think the next 10 years of research are going to come out and agree with me in my body of work. And again, if you would like to support this body of work, you can show me how much my research means to you by visiting me on PayPal, Venmo, Cash App. I'm even on GoFundMe under the Goo Man Stem, or checking the link tree in my bio. Have a good one, folks.